All right, welcome back to the show, episode number 2 of Podsplice Podcasting Uncut. We are going to show you what you need to do so you can get your podcast actually out there instead of just in your mind, like it's going to be great, but you've never done it. So yesterday, basically, I called it episode -1, where we just talked about the first thing you have to do is to record something. Don't worry about your name, logo, the whole thing yet. Just see if you can record something, how it sounds, and that'll give you ideas. So get that out of the way if you haven't seen that. But now, so you've recorded something, you need to know basically where to put it, how to put it there so that it becomes an actual podcast instead of like a video. You know, you want it on Spotify, Apple, iTunes, YouTube podcasts, which is a newish thing, and Substack we're recommending. So we're going to kind of show you all of this, and it's very, very easy so if you want to jump in, say something, and then you can walk through the screen share of like what we're doing and how we're doing it with this one, so we can just get moving here.
Yeah, so the idea is you already created something, presumably. You go back to episode -1 if you haven't. And now we're going to turn that into a podcast, which just means that, certain places like Spotify, YouTube, Apple Music will be able to find your episodes. It'll just tell them, it's basically just a file that says, hey, you made new content, show it to my subscribers. That's all it really does. That's what a podcast is. You make the video or MP3 and then you turn it into a podcast. So I'm actually going to show you how to do it on
Or
YouTube. I'm
MP4,
going to
right,
share my
with
screen
video.
with video. Yes, it's an MP4 now. So I'll share my screen and I'll literally create a podcast on YouTube, and then I'll just quickly show the other examples. And we're going to dig into it, each channel more deeply, but I want to show you how easy it is and really all you're doing
Okay,
first.
so let's take a look here.
Okay, so I'm sharing my screen. You should see that now. I'm going to go right to our YouTube channel. I'm going to hide this. Okay, so if you're in studio.youtube.com, so all you have to do if you don't have a YouTube channel yet, you just sign in to YouTube with your Gmail account or whatever. And then from within
Like, it's not
there,
even
you're
worth
going to
explaining how to get a YouTube channel. It's almost as easy as signing up for email, right? You just create a YouTube channel and then adds putting the podcast into that channel. And this is sort of the
right.
nuance.
Right. So you're into content. You'll see this tab up on the top. It says podcast within there. So normally you'll have videos. So all you have to do is go over to the podcast tab, click on new podcast. So I already did. I filled it in. It's very simple though. We're going to call it Podsplice Podcasting Uncut. That's the title. You have to put some sort of a description, and you can change these later as well. So it's not a huge deal. You have to have a thumbnail, so just a square thumbnail. Andrew already made it. You say, what language do you have? We'll add a video, which we did yesterday, episode 1, done, and then we create
I'm just
it.
going
That's
to
all
pause
you do,
quickly here,
though.
Ad. So we're going to show later how to make this podcast art. Now, I did it on purpose. Not, I just put our logo there. It was like no big deal. We did it. I did that with, I think, Google Gemini, and then just played around with it in Canva. We'll show you how to do that later, but just get a square picture up there. And then the other thing is, Ad is technically changing by creating this playlist in YouTube, our episode -1 yesterday into a podcast. So we didn't actually list it as a podcast. It was just a video yesterday, but now it's going into the podcast playlist. And we couldn't do that yesterday because we didn't have this yet and we wanted to show you this. But this is all you have to do. Create a playlist, but you, as he said, go to content podcasts, and then even though it's in your YouTube channel, it sort of seems like the same thing, but it's really not. It's like a different algorithm, a different feed. So you really want to make sure you're not just putting a video out there, you're actually doing a podcast.
Right. So I'm just going to click the create button, and hopefully it works. Let's just see for a second. And I created it. That's literally it. And that's a podcast now. And what that means is it'll show up on YouTube differently. If people like podcasts, it'll show up to all like people that like, certain types of podcasts in different categories. And that's all it is for YouTube. But of course, a lot of people listen to podcasts in other places or watch them, such as Spotify. So we're going to get right into that in a second now, too. We're not going to dig really deeply, but it's very easy. It's the same concept. So you go to creators.spotify.com. So you can see that you sign in or log in, sign up, but you just need your Gmail or, sign up with your email. You'll get this. This is a previous podcast we had, and you just fill in your details again. And that's all you do. And then after that, you can see where it is. You'll get this,
So
what's
you
called
log
a
in and then you're right there.
yeah, you're basically right there and it'll just like follow you around. You can add new episodes and different things. But like that's the whole idea. You'll get this which is called an RSS feed, which just has all your information of your new episodes. And then it'll tell you, connect to, Spotify, different or not Spotify, sorry, Amazon, Apple Podcasts and different things. And then what you'll get is after this, it's the same idea as YouTube. YouTube's just slightly simpler. You'll see this, and you'll see this like available on Apple or Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and your RSS feed, and they'll all be listed here. And even you'll get a link that it'll show up on Apple, for example. You can see here
Right. So basically, you don't
podcasts.apple.com.
have to go do anything other than check a box. Like you do YouTube first because it's easiest. Make sure you're doing the podcast, and then you go to Spotify. And by putting it on Spotify, then it's automatically on. You'll find it on iTunes. You don't have to get into Apple Podcasts, right?
Well, no, you actually do, but it tells you how to do it. You just sign up again through that. So that's why I don't want to get into all the details, but I will show the signing up and putting the information in for the other accounts, but it's very simple. It's basically like YouTube. I just didn't want to show every
Yeah, and
single
you're gonna
one.
make separate videos on each one to go really into detail, right? If you can't
Exactly.
figure
So
this out, but it's pretty easy.
it's like signing up for an email. And now we're going to do Substack, which is the same thing. So this is really
Though
just
before
another
you
way
do
of getting an
Substack, go
audience.
back to Spotify.
Okay, Spotify. Yeah.
So when you're filling in the stuff, so you upload the square picture like your podcast art. Where do you get that RSS feed? Like how do you get that?
Well, it automatically creates it for you
So you just
once you do
you
it.
just type
So
in.
you
So you
fill it in,
sign
it'll give
in,
you
and then
this.
and then where are you? You just say new podcast.
Yeah, and I mean it'll tell you this because we already have an existing one, and I didn't want to get into the details because it makes you check your email, like log back in a few different steps. But basically, it's very simple. But again, I'm going to do this on another separate kind of episode that's not a podcast, just like a YouTube video of how to make an RSS feed on Spotify and really dig into every field, what you put in, and how to get it. But it's really simple,
Okay.
is the idea. And now we'll get into Substack. So, in case you don't know, Substack is a blogging platform, but it also now has podcasting since, I don't know, like 6 months ago or something. So, if you're in Substack, you can create a new Substack account if you want, just for your podcast, and then you just go to podcast and then click the create a podcast button. We already did this before again with our AI growth guys podcast, and then you just fill in the information again. So here's your title, your description, same as YouTube. Your tagline is in English, you put your category, and then you save your settings.
So
And again, down here, you can see it, your RSS feed, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. It tells you what to do for each of these and how to get them on there. So basically, you make one channel, you put them everywhere from there. It's very
I
simple.
just wanted to say a lot of
And
people overlook Substack because they think it's a blogging platform and they don't plan on writing, but you can just do podcasts. They're really growing that there, and they have their own ecosystem. So people, you might find, even if you don't write, people might find your podcast on Substack and share it there more than any of the other ones. Like you really don't know which one's going to take off, but it's a big one. Now you could go crazy and try to put it on 5,000 different things, but these are pretty much, you get like almost all of it through these ones that we're doing here, but definitely don't miss out on Substack because it's free,
well,
it's got its own ecosystem, and it's It's a good one. And we'll show you later how to change your podcast episode with AI into an article, and people might find it. So even if you don't like writing, people might find it through Substack or on Google search, and find your podcast that way. That's a whole different thing, but it's very useful to do Substack.
Right. So it's really just a different distribution channel. And the good thing about Substack, because it is, especially was a blogging platform where it actually does have an audience, new people will find it easy. And, if you only put it on YouTube, they're not going to find it on Substack because that's not where Substack gets the audience information. So that's something else. And just this is a quick thing. And a lot of people are confused about what a podcast is. So you get this RSS feed, and people think, okay, what is that? I'm just going to show you a screenshot of it. It looks like a bunch of links and tags, and you'll have all it is your episode information, your content, and then there'll be this. It says like audio MPEG, so there's an MP3 file, this enclosure URL, and then it says the date, which is when it was published, the pub date, and that's it. So it'll tell all your different channels when you have a new episode. So your subscribers will automatically know when there's new content. And that's the cool thing about podcasts compared to other things. It's just a way of people knowing when you have new content. And I'm going to stop sharing, then we can just talk for a second. Okay. So now we're
Yeah.
back on side by side having a chat. And that's why this is more of a podcast style. So I didn't want to really dig into like, put your title here, click here and do that, because you could listen to this anyway, in the car or something. That's the idea. That's kind of the distinction between a podcast and like maybe like a how-to video is you might listen to it just audio only.
Yeah. So this isn't a technical definition, but it should be a little bit more radio show like. Even if you're doing a video podcast, someone should be able to listen to it. It's not just get to the point and that's it. Should be a little more personality, a little more, shooting the breeze. Whereas, like, you can imagine a how-to video on YouTube, you could technically put it into your podcast feed, but it's not like make sure you're not wasting time and do this, 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 and this. Podcast is like more enjoyable. Tune into your show, learn some stuff along the way, have a laugh or two, and it's like a show. And the good thing about it, I think, is people that listen to it, they learn about the people hosting it a little more. We haven't really said much about ourselves yet. We probably will on other episodes, but the point is it's almost the opposite of like short form videos where people's attention span is 3 seconds and then they or less and then they scroll away. This is more like you just listen to the show. It doesn't matter if it quote unquote wastes a bit of time. You're just like, I like listening to this show. I like relaxing to this show. In our case, it's more of a learning what to do that you should be doing plus that. But the idea is you should be able to just put your headphones on, listen in the car, whatever. You got the idea. You're learning some stuff, enjoying it, and not just expecting, step one, do this, step two, do this, and then turn it off.
Yeah, normally podcasts are more unscripted and more conversational as well. And that's why they can be more like 3 hours long, some people's, which I personally think is a bit too long. But it's like, is it like you want to be in the same category as like a Joe Rogan or a Howard Stern a little bit? Get into that mentality where you're having a chat, people could be listening to you only, and that's it. So that's a little distinction. And it doesn't, again, as Andrew said, it's not a real definition, but you'll find that I think you'll have a better show if you get into that mentality that close your eyes, pretend like maybe people would listen to you anyway, and maybe you have something to say. Just start babbling a little bit. And that's more, in my mind anyway, what a podcast is.
Yeah, I mean, think about the podcasts that are popular and the ones that you listen to, and what do they have in common? You're not following a script. If both people are reading off a script, that's not really a podcast, or if you're doing that yourself. But anyway, the real point of this one ad, I'm going to say that this is more on the how to or what to do than anything, is once you have done yesterday's thing, where you're recording. Now you've got to start to think, okay, I'm going to record something and put it up. We still don't have our intro music. It doesn't matter. We'll get to that later. Just Now start putting it, at least put it on YouTube. I mean, that's the easiest thing, right? So you record something, do it with Podsplice. That's what we recommend. If you want to use something else, go ahead. We're using Podsplice right now because it's just so easy. And Ad's even able to share the screen for both of us, get sound, whatever. But, look how quickly things are up. So our podcast after, it's not like we worked on this all day today and yesterday, but it took like less than 24 hours. We've got our second episode here that'll be going up, and it's going to be going up to all these different podcatchers. Well, you're sitting around still wondering what to do, right? So,
No, exactly. So, I mean, the difference is again, so you press record and then you put out to all these different distribution channels. That's the cool thing. And you'll find that people will start listening and it'll show like the countries. Oh, like someone in Zimbabwe just listened to me. And it's kind of cool. And you might even get feedback pretty quickly. Because I think at the start, especially if you have anything new, they show it a little bit, and if it takes off, it might go a lot faster than you think, especially if you have a good one. Even if you have a bad one, though, they'll still show it to some degree, and people will listen to it.
yeah, and then just keep making more episodes, make some improvements along the way. And we're starting raw. That's why it's uncut. Like, we haven't even dialed into our lighting or the camera or nothing. We don't have the jingle, we don't have anything. But it's up, it's starting. People will listen. We know that from 22 years of experience. And we'll just keep tweaking and showing you little improvements we made along the way and what you should do. But this is going to be action more than, strategizing. You've done enough strategizing. Now it's time to take action, right?
Well, that's what we're doing anyway. It's almost like just point, aim, fire, and then we will reassess a little bit, but then we're going to keep firing is the idea. And the more shots you take, the more chances you have of scoring a goal, basically.
Yeah. I mean, if this was years ago, we would have taken a month just looking at like the podcast artwork little square and saying, oh, are people going to like this? Is this the right color? What about this logo? And you're never going to do anything you know, if that's what you're doing, because it really means nothing. You can always tweak anything later, get something out the door. It's like cutting the grass. If you have to cut the grass at home, get out there and cut it. Don't think about, I don't know, should you get a different lawnmower or like just don't think about anything. Just get out and cut it and come in.
I guess the only thing is if you don't have a lawnmower, you need to get one. It's like things like that. If you can't press record, that's a different issue. So as long as you can record it and publish it, you're already pretty much done.
Yeah.
And that's
As long
it.
as you have a computer and like we recommend, get Podsplice, you don't need anything else. You just sign up for YouTube. All that other stuff's free. This is $15 a month and that's it. Like that's all you need. And then anything
Right.
else is an excuse.
Right. So, okay. So as I said, I will be showing you more of the details, and this is a podcast about podcasting. So we will just babble more about podcasting in 2026 and strategies, to make more money and everything too. It's just like we're just starting out though. We're literally taking it from nothing to hopefully something pretty good.
Yeah. And then you just follow the same steps. And like, we're not scared to show something that's not, it's podcasting uncut. We know that this will work from our experience. So just follow along. You don't need anything way better than what we're doing to start. And you'll see that because we'll share the results.
All right. So that's episode 2, and we'll see you next time.